Have you ever wanted to play Pokemon Radical Red but in the Hoenn region? Well, look no further than Pokemon Elite Redux. This game has absolutely everything you could ever need in a ROM hack. Rebalancing of old Pokemon, type changes that suit the Pokemon better, 110 new custom abilities, and these go so hard. And on top of that, your Pokemon can have up to 4 abilities at the same time, making them absolutely broken. But don't say this game is going to be too easy, because all of your opponents will also be able to have 4 abilities. And that's by far my favorite feature in this game, but there is a ton more to talk about. There's also a reworked and stronger AI like in Radical Red to make the battles more challenging, and there is a massive pile of other things that this game has changed and made better that I want to talk about. But I'll be doing that as we go through the video. But this won't just be a regular playthrough, I'll be randomizing everything from the abilities to the Pokemon to create absolute chaos. So join me on my journey as we travel through the most optimized ROM hack ever created. After getting introduced to the professor and choosing our character, we get a full setup list. Here you can choose your difficulty, whether or not you want a level cap, the encounter ability, innate move type, and individual colors randomizer. What? What the f? I don't really think I want to see a green Swampert, so I'm going to be leaving that option as well as a type randomizer alone so that we don't get a dark ghost type with a Wonder Guard ability that we basically can't kill. After spawning in, I immediately saw that the level cap is displayed once you open up the menu as well as your wins and losses. Guess in the comments down below right now how many losses you think I'll suffer, because it might be more than you're expecting, because this game ain't easy. Once you go to your rival's house, you can also pick which region your starter Pokemon are going to be from. And since I feel like the Johto starters have kind of been left in the dust by Game Freak, I decided to go with them and picked Cyndaquil. We also help out Professor Burge by taking out the Zigzagoon with a beautiful moveset of Snatch, Blaze Kick, and Hydro Cannon. So I click Blaze Kick since it's a stab move, and it also shows you how much damage you did, which can be very useful if you're trying to calculate damage. Because I thought I was going to be able to beat my rival easily, I went up to May, but she had a beautiful little Mudkip. And even though I burned it first turn with a Blaze Kick, it still took me out with a Waterfall, meaning that we lose our very first match. So I had to go back to the drawing board, and I decided to check out the party. And quickly found out that you can teach your Pokemon regular moves, egg moves, TM moves, and tutor moves just from the menus. You don't even need to breed or get TMs from gym leaders or the overworld anymore. And since everything is randomized, this became very interesting very quickly. I mean, a Cyndaquil with Judgment? I'm not complaining. I'm absolutely ready to lay down this little god's wrath on my opponents. On top of that, we can get Magma Storm, Steam Eruption, and Tail Glow. This little guy could become the most overpowered thing you have ever seen. But then I went to take a look at the abilities, and these were kind of doo-doo. Snow Warning isn't going to help us. Heavy Metal is kind of useless too. Queenly Majesty is nice because we can't get hit by any priority moves, and Seaweed is kind of the worst ability we could have gotten here because we lose our resistance to grass and we can't hit it super effectively anymore. Once you head to the Pokemon Center after that, you get all the items in the game, from Pokeballs to all of the held items you can need. You don't have to go and defeat trainers or look in the overworld for anything. You can just team build whenever you want, which is great for creators like me because it makes us able to run through the game a lot quicker. Once you open up your bag, you also see a ton of useful key items like a candy box that will basically serve as an infinite rare candy so you can level up to the level cap whenever you want, an infinite repel in case you don't want to encounter any Pokemon, an infinite escape rope, and a Poke Vial so you don't have to head to the Pokemon Center. I'm telling you, it doesn't get more optimized than this. Here's also where I decided to add a rule to this video. I can only capture the first Pokemon on each route, just like a regular Nuzlocke, but instead I'll just not be doing a Nuzlocke. This is just going to make sure that it limits my team options so that I'm not stuck hours on team building and can wallop over everything I see. So I went ahead and evolved my Cyndaquil into a Kalava with the rare candy box, and also grabbed my first 3 encounters, Psyduck, Serena, and Cacturne. Another really cool thing in this game is that every single Pokemon has a 100% catch rate, so you're not stuck on trying to capture any legendaries with really low catch rates. So really good notable abilities I got on these 3 are Hyper Aggressive on Psyduck, which makes you hit twice on every single move, but the second move only does 25% of the damage. This is actually super useful to break through Sturdy. It also has Hydrate, which makes normal moves become water, and they get a 20% boost. Serena with multi-scale is going to be very nice, but Klutz is kind of a disappointment. And Freddy the Cacturn wants to be an electric type with Tough Claws. Definitely not bad if I say so myself. I then distributed my EVs, which was really easy to do. You can just do it from your Pokemon's menu and give it any EV spread you want. On top of that, you can also change the nature whenever you want, and on top of that, they will also have max IVs. And with Cacturn by my side, we absolutely cooked May and went back to our starting town to pick up the National Pokédex, an old rod, and a coin case. I guess our mom wants us to do some gambling. Great parenting. As my very next encounter, I got Frostlass, a nice ice ghost type that might actually be useful now, considering Majestic Bird boosts its special attack by 50%, which is insane. That's like a free choice specs. And it doesn't even lock you in a move, which makes it even better. I also found out that you can also change your ability between two others, giving you access to 7 abilities on every single Pokemon in total. We're going to absolutely cook every trainer from here on out. We help out our dad by helping Wally catch a Pokemon, but we also found out that towns have also got added grass patches. Meaning that if you're doing a Nuzlocke or something like me, you actually get access to a ton more encounters, which is very nice, you know, in case your multi-scale Serena isn't good enough. We grabbed 2 more encounters in Dedenne and Trumbeak, which honestly weren't all that special, so I headed over to the local woods instead and fought some pirates. Speaking of pirates, I actually just watched the One Piece series on Netflix, and Zoro is the best character ever. Just outside of Rosboro City, we also find a Salazzle with artillery and water absorb, as well as Unaware. This girl could definitely turn into a long-term team member. And with moves like Blue Flare, Sludge Bomb, and Origin Pulse in its arsenal, I don't think anything is going to be able to stand up against it. Except for maybe Roxanne's Onyx with Sturdy that could just kill me with Earthquake. But no worries, because we have more than enough of super effective moves against their entire team. I mean, Cacturn with Sappy Seed, Kulava with Steam Eruption, and Frostlass with Fleur Cannon were more than enough to break Roxanne's stones. On the next round, I decided to head over to the nice beach and relax in the sun, when all of a sudden an alligator popped out from the sea and asked me, "Hey kid, can I join your team?" And I just said yes, because this man has Primordial Sea as an ability on a water type. And I knew I didn't have to ask for anything else, except for maybe Anger Point. So let's hope our opponents get a couple of crits on us. On top of that, there is also a little area called the Sea Spray Cave added into this game, which gives you access to even more encounters. Here I grabbed a Groudon and also found a shiny Sandslash. And yes, there is a shiny odds booster in this game, but I didn't touch it. Does that mean this is a full odds? I don't know, but I will definitely take it. There's also these trainers on every route, and if you talk to them, they will ask you for some side quests, but this one I couldn't even start because I need to be Pokemon League champion first. So if you guys want me to fully complete this game in a 100-hour video, please let me know, because I think that would be the funnest thing ever. The Sidrai was our next encounter, but its abilities kind of sucked, so I yeeted it in the trash for now and took on some more pirates in caves. After saving Mr. Briny's Pico for the 100th time, I don't know how he keeps losing him, we also find a Honchkrow, and he can actually boost its attack by 60% if he goes last and uses contact moves. And since Honchkrow isn't that fast anyway, this thing will hit like an absolute truck. And on top of that, it gets Magic Bounce. So get those pesky Stealth Rocks out of here, opponents. We are having none of that. The only nice ability on Sandslash was Sturdy, and after that we headed over to the mayor's house and get a free phone. I just hope that it's not the new iPhone, because I've heard that they break quite easily. After exiting the Devon Corporation, we snatch up Roxanne's number, because you can always go and rematch the gym leaders if you want to, and straight after we also break May's spirit. Mr. Briny takes us to Dewford Town with his wreck of a boat, and there we find 2 more new areas, a nice field of flowers, and an abandoned mansion where you can get obviously 2 more encounters. Here I managed to grab a stupid Standler that I never used, but then after that I found its godfather, Xerneas, the way better deer that can shoot moons out of its antlers. Just imagine if we would have gotten that. Brawly would have been a piece of cake. The other encounter was a useless goldfish, so I headed over to Granite Cave instead to fight Steven Stone. That's right, you don't just have to deliver a letter here. Before he even lets you give the letter to him, you have to show your worth. He had a very decent team for so early in the game. Metang, Lycanroc, Delmise Cradily, and a Alolan Duck trio. Definitely gave me some trouble, but obviously nothing my amazing team couldn't handle themselves. I mean, my Decidueye literally has a move that's called Excalibur, which means I'm probably the chosen one. So after Meteor assaulting Steven out of the cave, we made the trip to Slayport City, where Brawly is standing in line with a bunch of pirates. So we tell him to go back to his gym duties and stop slacking off, and then I just set his entire gym on fire with blue flares from Salazzle. Yeah, I know, his team might have been pretty strong, but nothing could withstand the hellfire that I rained upon him that day. We then went back to the museum where Archie, the leader of the Blue Skull Pirates, challenged me to a gauntlet battle against him and his 2 grunts. We only survived with the skin of our teeth because once you beat the 2 grunts, some of your Pokemon are probably going to be fainted, and then you have to face Archie with only a couple of team members left. I managed to make it out with only 39 HP left of my Serena. I managed to send the pirates back to sea. I also won't be showing you every single encounter anymore, because if I get an encounter that I literally never used in the video, there is no use in showing it to you. But what is worthy of some spotlight is this Mion Shao. With Iron Barbs, Tinted Lens, and Aerial Ace, this will be a mid-encounter at most, but its high attack and speed are definitely going to come in handy. I also evolved my Kilava into Typhlosion to get a much-needed buff. I mean, what am I talking about? We don't need to buff anything, because our shiny Sandslash is here to bail us out with a priority Aqua Jet. Combined with the Choice Band, this becomes a devastating move for Maze, Vikavolt, and Mimikyu. She also had some other very nice Pokemon like a Swampert and Serena for herself, but nothing my Grass and Fire type moves couldn't smash into the ground and scorch. We end up in Marvel City straight after and have to find little boy Wally. And normally he is the weakest trainer ever with just a regular Waltz, but here he has an absolutely awesome team. With Pokemon like Gardevoir, Garchomp, Roserade, Talonflame, I was definitely surprised to see this guy become such an amazing trainer. But since he's still my rival, we have to crush him with Glacial Lances from Mian Xiao, Magma Storms from Typhlosion, and Shell Sidearms from Serena. Now I'm going to show you my Ambipom encounter, and you might think, what? This is the ugliest Pokemon to ever exist. Why are you putting it in the video? Well, this Ambipom will show its destructive powers a little later on in our journey. But he's definitely not as good as our next encounter, Charizard, with Gorilla Tactics. A move that basically works as a Choice Band, so you are going to have to give this thing another Choice Band or a Choice Scarf to make sure it's always going to hit like a truck. On top of that, it also has Drizzle and Sea Guardian, making this the perfect Pokemon to sweep with. You might think Rain for a Fire-type Pokemon might not be the best, but this thing got Surging Strikes, one of the best moves in Pokemon, period. So Pokemon's most overhyped Pokemon might also be our most overhyped team member. But now I'm going to shock you because it's time to take on Wattson. Slathel starts off by taking out the first Pokemon and the second one with Blue Flare and doing some extra damage against the Water Electric type Electros. Serena then proceeded to take down Arctozolt, Electros, and Pachirisu with close combat, and his oversized lawnmower got Magma stormed into oblivion. Literally. Like he's stuck down there forever. Let's hope we can make some friends with the devil, because we're out of here and on to the next round where we grab another encounter. This time it was the Plant Fox Leafeon, which we definitely won't use right away because there is a fire and flying type gym coming up, but after that it could definitely become useful. We also see May in this little cutscene that they added where she just says that we have to go to Meteor Falls to help save one of the scientists because he's getting harassed by Team Magma. A nice little addition, but honestly nothing that was needed. On the next round, I actually found my soulmate, a Kyogre, which will by far be the best team member we may ever see, just because of its hyper-aggressive ability, which makes its moves hit twice. Could you imagine a Choice Specs Water Spout from full health hitting twice? Yeah, I don't think anything is surviving that unless you might have water absorb. We do reach Meteor Falls straight after this and have to do a double battle together with May against Tabitha and a Grunt. This was one of the easiest boss battles so far because Salazzle and Charizard were the only two team members needed, because after this beatdown, Team Magma started crying and ran back to their mommies. So we went to the top of a volcano and talked to their mommy to show them what real carnage looks like. It's what I would have said if this didn't turn out to be one of the hardest battles. I actually lost against Maxie over 6 times just because I was able to outspeed and wall most of my team with fast Pokemon like Lycanroc, Naganadel, and Crobat. But in the end, my Kyogre was able to sweep like half of his team while Charizard and Sandslash did the rest of the work. As I said, Surging Strikes is super overpowered and it came in use multiple times in this battle. Because if you don't have high defense or resist water, you're probably going to get one shot. We then drop Maxie into the volcano, head down the path, and find a Landorus. Another legendary, but he's definitely not as powerful as Kyogre, hence why he's also a part of the inferior Weather Trio. He does have some very nice abilities like Weak Armor, Berserk, and Punk Rock, which can boost his speed as well as his special attack and sound-based moves, so he'll definitely feature in a couple of fights. For this next battle against Flannery though, he didn't come out. Instead, I just threw out Charizard and one-shot everything except for some Flora and Volcarona. They were able to survive my Surging Strikes and take down my Mighty Dragon, so I had to bring out my Fire Lizard and killed Fire with Fire. Next up, I found myself a Girder and evolved into Conkeldurr. It doesn't have the best abilities, but Intimidate is always goated. Definitely when you're facing a behemoth like my father, as he took out his belt. But even with this Intimidate, my dad definitely still did a number on my team, as everybody on my side had to pull their own weight because nobody survived except for Charizard, who was able to deliver the final blow. A couple of major threats were his Dodrio that's super fast, and once he gets a kill, Moxie activates, which makes it a lot harder to kill, and it can basically one-shot everything after that. Except for my Sandslash, who was able to double Iron Bash it. Conkeldurr and Charizard dealt with Bouffalante, and the Decidueye somehow took down his major beast Slacking, with a little bit of help of a super effective Meteor Assault. Kyogre finished off his Mega Banette, which is the first Mega Pokemon we do see in this playthrough, so from now on they'll probably be more common. And his last Pokemon, Ambipom, got sent back to the Shadow Realm with Surging Strikes from Charizard. 5 gym badges acquired, time to leave our dad in the dust and grab the HM for Surf, which unlocks a lot more encounters for us, the first one of those being an Appleton, which in a couple of battles will feature as a major wall against the opponent. I went into somebody's basement and found a Mewtwo there. I'm guessing this might have been Blaine's basement. But hey, another overpowered legendary that I'm definitely not complaining about. I mean, he had an ability that literally ups his special attack by 1 stage when he enters the field. Add that to his already monstrous special attack stat, and you get an absolute monster. A monster that destroyed the Weather Institute, and honestly didn't do anything to try and beat Shelly. He just got destroyed by a Mega Absol with Wicked Blow and a Choice Scarf. Luckily, the rest of my team were strong enough to actually do something, and eventually Thundurus even finished it off with a Leaf Storm. After receiving the useless thing that's Cast Form, we went over the bridge and had to fight our rival May once more. This is where Mewtwo finally showed its real potential and was able to take down 2 Pokemon with Boom Burst. And if it wasn't for this pesky Mimikyu and its stupid disguise ability, it probably would have been able to go all the way and take everything out. Luckily, we still have our multi-scaled Serena in the back, as well as Poseidon, the god of the sea, who with their combined attacks washed away May. After pushing a Kecleon off the bridge, Steven gives me a reward, which allows us to enter Wynona's gym. And she has been turned into a double battle, which makes it a lot harder. Believe me, I got stuck here for a couple of decenniums. I lost to her 16 times before I actually had my winning run. And how did I manage to take her out? Well, let's find out. Start out with Kyogre and Serena, and use Sparkling Aria, which actually hits every one of my foes as well as my team members, so I use Spiky Shield with Serena so it doesn't take any damage, while I take out the Corviknight and Swellow. Their next 2 Pokemon, Oricorio and Honchkrow, one-shot both of my Pokemon, so it's time for a new pair to come in. The Dene and Landorus. With Moonblast and Draco Meteors, they're able to take down the Honchkrow and do some chip damage against the next Pokemon, Dragonite, as well as the Oricorio. My Charizard then takes out the Oricorio, and I also bring in Mewtwo, while their last Pokemon is going to be a Mega Mega Pincer. With one last Surging Strikes and a Hydro Cannon, both of them fall, and we finally get our 6th Gym Badge, allowing us to use Fly and traverse the region a lot easier. I changed around the team a little bit by adding in Appleton and Ambipom, and as you can see, Ambipom's abilities definitely aren't the best, but it has access to a ton of great moves, and with a whopping 125 speed, it even rivals Sonic the Hedgehog. But with a move like Fish's Rend in its arsenal, it's also going to hit very hard, which is basically a requirement to be on my team. So we hike up the big cemetery, see the pirates steal some orbs, and head to Lily Cove City to challenge our rival. And since I've been hyping Ambipom up for the last 10 minutes, he dies against the first Pokemon he faces, a Vikavolt. Mission failed. Time to bring in Serena, who can only take out one Pokemon before I have to bring out the most overpowered boy ever, Charizard, who can Surging Strikes through our entire team straight into a volcano where we meet up with Maxie, aka Team Magma's mommy. Before he can awaken the behemoth that's Groudon, I have to show him my behemoth Ape, who basically sweeps the entirety of Maxie's team with Fish's Rend and Triple Axle. It does also very much help when your entire team is weak to those moves. After this, we watch a submarine get stolen, defeat a very muscular man, and capture Larry the Curum, another legendary that honestly wasn't used all that much. We also found a thick-ass Wailmer and a Bergmite that's actually very useful, with Quick Draw, which makes it move first a lot of the time, basically making its bat speed obsolete, and Inner Focus and Flame Body are always nice abilities to have. Kind of ironic that a little Ice Cube has Flame Body as an ability though, even though ice can actually burn you in real life. And Curum had Sea Guardian and Bad Luck as its notable abilities. Anyway, I evolved my new team members and crafted an entire new team of Appleton, Conkeldurr, Sandslash, Groudon, Avalugg, and Wailord, all because we have to face Tate and Liza, who use a Trick Room team, meaning that we need to build a team that's not faster than a tortoise. On top of that, there is also a reverse rule active in this battle, meaning that super effective moves are now not very effective, and not very effective moves are super effective, which definitely shake my brain a little bit. But after a couple of attempts, I managed to get it right and started out with Shiny Sandslash and Appleton against Gardevoir and Bronzong. In the first turn, we take out Bronzong with Attack Order and double Iron Bashes combined with Hail that my Sandslash set up. I then use V-Create and double Iron Bash to take out the incoming Meloetta, but Gardevoir is able to take down both of my Pokemon with Expanding Force, and with that Soul Heart activates, boosting its special attack by 2 stages, making it a very scary threat. I bring in Conkeldurr to close combat it, which is now 4 times super effective, and take it out, and Wailord also comes in, who gets put to sleep by Hypno, but eventually is able to set up a Geomancy once Reuniclus comes in and takes out my beautiful Conkeldurr. I bring in Avalugg and take down Hypno and Reuniclus with Glacial Lance and Steam Eruption, but I also get put to sleep by Hypnosis. The last Pokemon is a Darmanitan, so with a Mind Blown from Wailord and a High Jump Kick from Groudon, Tate and Liza's minds actually got blown. Now we hear a siren across Mossdeep City. The Earth Crawlers of Team Magma have stolen a rocket and are trying to blow up the Earth. I can't catch a break, can I? Luckily, me and champion Steven Stone are there to save the day. With my Mewtwo, Kyogre, and his Genesect and Aerodactyl by our side, this fight became a piece of cake. Mainly because most of their Pokemon were once again weak to Water-type moves. And with that, we shoo Team Magma out of here. They don't get arrested by the police or anything. No, instead we get a notification on our phones saying that Team Aqua have drilled a hole in the seafloor to awaken a big aquarium fish. So I get my Leafeon ready for action. It definitely doesn't have the best abilities, but its stats and attacks definitely make up for that. Shortly after, we already reach Archie, and he has just awakened Kyogre and immediately added him to his team too. Luckily, we can just destroy it with a single Wood Hammer, just like the next Pokemon Electros, and Mewtwo, Serena, Conkeldurr, and Charizard take care of the rest. I didn't even have to bust out my own Kyogre. And I mean, he had a Go-Goat on his team, one of the most useless Pokemon ever. So what did you expect? Groudon and Kyogre then have a party by almost destroying the world, so we have to go to the Cave of Origin to try and fix it. On my way over there, I grabbed an Excadrill with the Quick Draw ability as well as Ice Skills, which halves special damage. A Kyogre can now hit me with a Water Spout, and I'd probably survive, but this is not even the best thing I got. I also got an Inteleon in the Cave of Origins, which is going to be an awesome speedy special attacker. In the deepest part of the cave, we meet up with Wallace and tell him to go to Mount Pyre, while we head off the Sky Pillar to save the world and steal all the credit. On our way over there, we grab a Sceptile and battle a trainer, and on this trainer, I made a miraculous discovery. You can actually check which abilities, moves, and stat spread your opponent's Pokemon has. I can't believe that I didn't know this earlier. This would have made a couple of fights a lot easier, so if you do play this game yourself, definitely keep this in mind. Big Schnick shouts at Behemoths, we save the world, and can enter the final gym to battle Juan. We start off the battle with Leafeon against his Golduck, but he immediately swaps out into his Mega Kingler, which you can take out with Sappy Seed. Charizard then continues to lay down his wrath by Core Enforcering Zapdos, Araquanid, and Kingdra. Mewtwo takes out Golduck, and finally Kyogre finishes off Lapras, and with that, our final gym badge is acquired. Not too hard of a battle, first attempt. Obviously, it's now time for Victory Road. We didn't really pick up any more notable Pokemon, so this is going to be our team to take down Wally with. He does still have a very good team though, starting out with a Garchomp, which my Charizard can deal with by using Core Enforcer, but his next Pokemon, Talonflame, kills me with just a single Brave Bird. Mewtwo is able to take down Talonflame with Boom Burst and do major damage against Azumarill before also taking the L. Leafeon finishes off Azumarill, Conkeldurr takes care of Roserade with Precipal Blades, while Kyogre is able to just survive a Sacred Sword from his Mega Gallade, counter back with Sparkling Area, and take out it as well as the last Pokemon, Magnezone. After this, we get out of Victory Road without many road bumps, and upon entering the Pokemon League, I decide to add Inteleon to my team because it has a Dragon Slayer ability as well as Libero and Mirror Armor. 3 great abilities, and on top of that, Queenly Majesty. I'm just saying, I have to have this thing on the team. I also added Serena back as well as Avalugg, and Charizard, Kyogre, and Mewtwo stayed the same. With my abomination of a team, I went into the very first Elite Four members room, Sydney. Sydney is no joke, as my Charizard can't even take out more than 2 Pokemon, only being able to finish off Mandibuzz before Lycanroc puts an end to my dragon and becomes the Dragonborn by killing it with Dynamic Punch. Mewtwo deals with it, but Darkrai comes in and puts a stop to him already. Luckily, Kyogre is a bit better than Darkrai and finishes it off with just 1 move before getting taken out by Mega Gyarados. That's when Serena comes in, uses Close Combat, and Hydreigon and Sableye, the last 2 Pokemon, fall to Glacial Lance from my Avalugg. Thank God for that quick draw ability. The second Elite Four member, Phoebe, wasn't easy either. Kyogre was able to drown out her first Pokemon, Hoopa, with Sparkling Arias before Delmise came in, and I had to take that out with Wicked Blow from my Avalugg, as well as the next Pokemon, Mega Gengar, once again, all because of the quick draw ability. Super overpowered. James Pond finished off Golurk with a Water Spout, as my Charizard then Blaze kicked the final 2 Pokemon, Parasect and Aegislash. The cool thing about Parasect is that it's now a Ghost type, making it a lot more fitting, in my opinion, since it's been taken over by a Mushroom. Glacier was honestly no problem either, because with a Mind Blow from James Pond, we can take out Ninetales and do major damage on Kyurem White. Charizard then Core Enforces his way through this Kyurem White the turn after and through Beartick, and does also a major amount of damage against Glaceon before finally biting the dust. Or should I say the hail. Close Combat then finished off Glaceon and the Mega Lapras, but Dewgong survived with like half of its HP, meaning that it's probably got Multiscale or something. I proceeded to use Thunder Cage with Kyogre, and that was that. The battle was won. On to Drake, the final member. And he was probably the easiest one, as James Bond immediately started out with a Water Spout against Mega Aerodactyl to bury it. Avalugg once again came in clutch, as it was able to take down Salazzle, Haxorus, and Appleton with Wicked Blows and Glacial Lances. And Mewtwo just used Floor Cannon to finish off Huron Black and Dragapult. And with that, you know what time it is. Champion time. Wallace is not ready for the pain I'm about to bring down on him. We start off the battle in a great fashion, as Serena just Sappy Seeds Suicune, which one turns it. Mewtwo is unable to Hydro Cannon Necrozma, and because of the rain, this also drowns it in just 1 hit. Kyogre one-shots Azumarill with Thunder Cage. Serena Sappy Seeds Quagsire Mega Melodic looks amazing and is from Inclement Emerald, by the way, but doesn't survive a Sappy Seed and Pond James combo. The last Pokemon is a Ferrothorn, which is a weird thing to throw into this team, but when you have an Inteleon with Mind Blown, this oversized plant isn't going to help much. With that, we place our team into the Hall of Fame, and I would definitely say that Kyogre or Charizard was the MVP. And honestly, if Avalok would have come earlier in the run, he might have taken the crown. We also ended off with 233 wins and 25 losses, so if you got that right at the beginning of the video, you get a cookie. But all of you know that I don't think Wallace is a proper send-off in an Emerald game, so we're going to be taking on the real champion, Steven Stone, in the back of his cave too. Let's see if he's any harder. We start off once again with my Pokemon winning, Wicked Blowing Bronzong 2 times to bring out Melmetal, who gets answered by Serena's close combat. I also once again do a lot of damage on his Necrozma, but I get sent into space just like Team Rocket with a prismatic laser. I proceed to counter with Boom Burst from Mewtwo and also take down Magearna with a Hydro Cannon. I bring in James Pond to take care of the final two Pokemon, Mega Metagross and Genesect, with Mind Blowns. And with that, we have defeated Pokemon Elite Redux with a randomized team with the most busted abilities, so it really wasn't that much of a feat, but it was such a fun video to make. I personally think you can have so much fun with this ROM hack. You can play it any way you like. It's not hard to grind up. You can get any Pokemon you like with basically any move on it. So if I'd have to rate this game, I would honestly give it a 9 out of 10. That's how crazy it is. With that beautiful rating, we're going to have to end off the video by thanking our membership and Patreon supporters. As always, if you want to help out the channel yourself, it is always very much appreciated. The money I gather from these goes back into equipment, like I just bought a new mic, I'm busy with hiring editors, so it definitely goes a long way. And it makes you super cool. With that last note out of the way, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. I'm Zwiggo, and I'll see you guys next time.